Let's talk honestly for a moment, because if you are a ministry leader, you already know something many people don't say out loud. Because leading the church is one of the most complex leadership assignments in the world. It is not just because people are interesting, although we can all agree that they are, but because you are leading individuals who are growing spiritually, emotionally, financially, and socially at the same time. And somehow, all of that shows up on Sunday morning. Sometimes at once, sometimes 5 minutes before service starts. You can pray, and you should. You can fast, and that matters a lot. You can preach powerfully, and that is central. But if your leadership structure is weak, your church will feel it. Not immediately, because passion can carry things for a while, but over time it begins to show in subtle ways. Follow-up becomes inconsistent, volunteers are tired, the same 5 people are doing everything, and they are now giving you that look during announcements. New members come, but they don't stay. Leaders are unclear about expectations. Communication breaks down, and you find yourself asking, what exactly is going on here? Let me say this clearly, so it lifts pressure off you. That is not a spiritual failure. That is a leadership systems gap. Many ministry leaders feel this tension quietly. You are called, you are committed, and you genuinely love people, but you are stretched because you are not just pastoring, you are leading an organization. Whether you planned for that or not, that is the truth. Research on church growth has consistently shown that sustainable growth is not driven by preaching alone or programs alone. Churches that grow and sustain that growth have strong leadership development systems in place, clear communication structures, intentional discipleship pathways, and defined processes for integrating people into community. In simple terms, they are both spiritual and strategic, and they do not apologize for either. Let me explain further. You are probably saying the difference yourself. Some churches grow quickly, energy is high, attendance increases, but after a while, things begin to shake. Leaders burn out, systems collapse, and the culture becomes unclear. Then there are other churches that grow steadily, sometimes quietly but consistently. People stay, leaders are raised, there is clarity in how things work, there is peace in the flow. The difference is not just anointing, it is structure. Now, let's bring this back to Jesus, because this is where many people miss something important. Jesus did not just come to save. He also came to demonstrate a pattern, a way of building that thing that can sustain beyond the physical presence. Jesus led everyone, but he did not lead everyone the same way. He started with 12, not because he could not handle more, but because he understood scalability long before we gave it a name. He invested deeply in a few so that the few could reach many all around the world. That is leadership structure in place. He expanded to the 70 and then the larger crowd. He built layers. That is what we would call today a leadership pipeline. He taught publicly, but he explained deeply in private. That is tiered communication. He delegated responsibility and sent out 2 by 2. That is distributed leadership. He did not build dependency, he built capacity. When you look at it carefully, you realize Jesus was not just leading a movement. He was leading to build systems that could live after him physically on earth. Now think about this. If Jesus, with all power, still chose structure, what does that say about how we should live today? Many ministry leaders are trying, to do everything by themselves. You are the preacher, you are the counselor, you are the strategist, you are the administrator, and sometimes if the media team is not around, you are also checking the microphone levels. I'm wondering why slides are not moving. At some point, you even consider learning graphic design just to help the church. No wonder you're tired. This is not how the kingdom was designed to function. The kingdom grows through people, but not just people. It grows through developed people, aligned people, and supported people. This is where scalable leadership becomes important, and it is important to understand that scalable leadership is not a corporate idea borrowed into the church. It is a kingdom principle that has always been there. It is scriptural. Scalable leadership is the ability to grow people, align systems, and expand impact without breaking the leader or the organization. If your church grows and you become more stressed, your system is not scalable. And if your church grows and your leaders become more empowered, then your system is really working. One of the real frustrations many ministry leaders face is inconsistency. You train people, they are excited, they show up early, they take notes, and then 2 weeks later, they disappear like they were never part of the team. You build a structure, something small happens, and everything shakes. It is easy to conclude that people are the problem, but often the real issue is that systems are weak. People thrive in clarity. People grow in structure. People stay where there is alignment. Even spiritually, growth follows structure. When discipleship is not defined, people grow randomly. Some mature, some stagnate, and some quietly drift away. But when there is a clear pathway, people move from one level to another with intention and understanding. That is how growth and scalability happens. Look at how Jesus discipled. He said, "Follow me." And then they walked with him. Then they watched him. Then they practiced. Then he sent them. Then he told them to teach others. That is not random. That is a system in place. Now let's talk about communication, because this is where many issues begin. Most problems in church are not spiritual attacks. They are communication breakdowns that we later try to pray away. Someone assumed something, someone did not receive information, someone felt ignored somehow, someone misunderstood a decision. Suddenly, what should have been simple becomes complicated. Strategic communication is not optional in ministry. It is essential. Jesus was intentional in how he communicated. He knew when to speak in parables and when to speak directly to people. He understood his audience, his timing, and his tone. That is leadership intelligence in place. This brings us to an important shift entirely. Ministry is spiritual, but it is also organizational. Church is not just a gathering, it is a living community system. When that system is not designed well, the community feels the strain. A kingdom mindset goes beyond purpose. It includes stewardship, structure, and responsibility. You are not just called to gather people, you are called to build people, and building people requires systems. You cannot disciple at scale without structure. You cannot lead at scale without developing leaders. You cannot grow sustainably without systems. That is where many ministries struggle today. They have vision, they have passion, they have a genuine love for people, but they lack scalable structure, and the result is frustration. Now imagine a different reality completely. Imagine a church where leaders understand their roles clearly. Communication flows without confusion. New members are integrated in the church intentionally. Imagine volunteers are supported rather than stretched, and you are not carrying everything alone. Growth does not feel like pressure. Imagine, it feels like progress within the church. That is not wishful thinking. That is structure at work. Just imagine. This is why scalable leadership is a kingdom practice. It reflects how Jesus built. It aligns with how the early church expanded. It supports how communities grow together. You are not replacing spirituality with structure. You are strengthening spirituality with structure, because structure does not limit the spirit. It gives the spirit a system through which consistency can be sustained. Let me close this with something very important. If you feel stretched today, tired or overwhelmed as a leader, as a ministry leader, it does not mean you are failing. It may simply mean your leadership needs structure, and you need to be intentional about it. When structure is in place, your thinking becomes clearer, your communication becomes stronger, your people become more aligned, and your leadership becomes lighter. Your church begins to function as a true kingdom community, not just growing, but sustaining growth. You are not just leading services, okay? You are building a system that shapes lives, and that requires more than passion. It requires leadership that can truly scale. That is the next level, and you are ready for it. God bless you.